So I've had a mare. Yeah. I mean, the car's in the workshop, I suppose that's a positive. So yeah, as you can see, I might have had a little crash. Just a little one. Yeah, it wasn't going very fast. Luckily, I'm fine. No one else was involved. Yeah, cold roads, winter, yeah. But she's looking a little bit sorry for herself. So I'm a little bit nervous, I'm not going to lie. I'm hoping, but the chassis legs are still straight. And it's all just cosmetic bits. Still drive straight. I drove it onto the trailer to get it here. Yeah. Yeah. Not how I wanted to start the actual build of this car. But just got to roll with the punches sometimes, haven't you? But yeah, car's in a bit of a state. Hit a tree or a hedge, a thick hedge about here, hence the thing there and there and a little bit there, and the bonnet's a bit there. Yeah, so in this video I suppose we get all the bodywork off and we do a bit of inspecting. The car is now not really leaving this workshop until the LS is in it. I was going to be bringing it in a couple of weekends ago actually. It happened a couple of weeks ago, but I've struggled to get it to the unit because obviously I couldn't drive it on the road like this. I don't think the police would appreciate that. So, and it would have been dangerous. So yeah, been trying to sort out getting it transported here. Been a bit more hard work than I was expecting. But a nice lad helped me out in the village where the car was. So yeah, big thanks to him really. Well, I did pay him for it, it's not like I did it for nothing. But yeah, cheers for your services. But yeah, got the car here today. I've done a few videos in the background, tried to hide this bit. But yeah, let's get the front end off. Need to get the bonnet off. Bonnet's pretty much scrap. I'll probably just use it for metal patching in bits here and there. And yeah, let's see how bad the damage is. So I did try and pop the bonnet after I crashed to make sure it wasn't leaking a load of water. However, it wouldn't open. And I didn't want to force it open because then I wouldn't be able to shut it. So, yeah. So, let's see if I can... Oh, I might have to put the handbrake on so it doesn't move. I have brought cutters, grinders, anything, lever bars, all sorts. Anything I can think of that will help me open this bonnet, which I think it's because it was wedged under there, so part of the way there. Whee. Yeah, so yeah, we've definitely got a little bit of damage under here. Let me get the bonnet off, stuff like that, and then I'll show you the extent of my silliness. I'll probably strip the whole front end. We'll put that bit on a time lapse, I think. Let's get the front end off. And I'll try not to cry.
So I'm just undoing the little clip that holds the bonnet strut, and then I go through and undo all the bolts for the bonnet, which I think were all 13 or 14 mil. Just whip them off. And you'll see in a minute, I try and pull the bonnet off, but I've actually forgotten to pull the windscreen washer tube through. So yeah, that's what I get caught on there, as well as the I didn't fully get the strut out.
Oh no. It's maybe done a bit more damage than I thought. Shit. Right, I'm going to get a box for scrap. I definitely need a bigger box than this, but it's all I've got at the minute. So, main plan now, it does look like it's bent the chassis legs. So I'm going to have to fix that. But what I'm going to do is get all the front end off. And then we'll look at draining the fluids and getting the engine and gearbox out, because I need to have a real good look at it. Annoyingly, I did see someone on Facebook or eBay, I can't remember which one, basically selling a cut, the whole front chassis. So if it's still available, that might be what I end up doing, and just welding it all on. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just pinging the grills out. They are usually held in by screws, but I just ripped them out because they're not getting used again. The first battle was with the front bumper. You'll see the first bolt comes out easily enough, but where it's hit on the left hand side of the car, I actually hit exactly where that little crash bar mounting point is, so it folded it over quite badly. So it made it really difficult to get that bolt out. So it was a bit of manipulation to try and get that out. As you can see, ripping the bumper casing off. But I did eventually get it off. And it just needed a lot of prying. I think I was very unlucky really with where I actually hit. I hit exactly where that bumper mounting was, like I said. And I think that's probably meant that it shifted everything. Thinking I've hit it one side or the other, I think I'd have got away a little bit lighter. But it's just one of those things, I suppose. There you go. Pop the front bumper off. And yeah, the wings are all held on with 8mm bolts. Because of the bent, I wasn't too gentle with them. Just whipped the bolts out and bent them a little bit how I needed to get the wings off, or fenders if you're American. As you can see, there is 2 more pairs of fenders over there, or wings, and I think I might be able to make one good pair out of 2 bad pairs, if that makes sense. A little bit of welding and a bit of fixing up, and I think I can make a good pair out of 2 bad pairs. So trying to look at the positives when I'm looking back at it all. And there we are, pinging the headlights out. It's safe to say both sides are scrap. I will just buy new of them, yeah, fresh for when I finish the build. It ended up being super difficult getting this front bumper off because I'd managed to mushroom, like I said, hitting that crash bar, that mounting point where I did, it crushed up and mushroomed the end, so you couldn't pull that front valance off. But yeah, bit of brute force and she came off.
So, yeah, as you saw then, I ripped the front off. I was being relatively aggressive, I just wanted to get it off. All the panels that I've taken off are well, I say unlikely, they're not going to get used. I might chop them up and use bits of them. In the previous video I told you that I've already crashed this car once. into a field. So you'll see actually there's another 2 pairs of wings over there. Front wings, or front fenders if you're American. And I've also got another front bumper, which has crushed up due to a little bit of rust. But I think I could probably get away with repairing it and getting a few repair panels and welding that up. But the bodywork's the least of my worries. So I was hoping that the bodywork had taken the brunt of it, and it hasn't at all. So as you can see, the whole front of the car is that way. The big giveaway is if you look at that radiator hose, that should be sort of over here, and this. But then if you look down at the chassis leg, it's like that. And this one, you can't quite see, but it is like that. So the whole front has shifted over. All this front slam panel's bent. I'm amazed actually it's held coolant. But it's all tweaked here and down to the legs. It looks like from here forward is fine. It's got a little tear I think down there, a tiny little tear. I can weld that up. So what I'm hoping I can find is basically a whole front of a car. If I can get a whole front of the car, I can cut it just in front of the strut towers and make it good again. Because I'm not letting this car die. This is my baby. It's been my project car and I love it. So it's definitely not gonna die. I'm definitely gonna repair it. There's also a bit of damage here at the bottom of the A pillar. That's just where the wings turned up or the fenders turned up and gone into it. I'm pretty confident I can sort that bit out. And we'll try and knock this out or pull it out or something. We'll figure that bit out. My main concern is, well, I say concern, I want to get the whole front out. So what time is it now? It's 12:30. I started stripping it out at 11. I've done an hour and a half and I've got the front end off. So I think I'm debating whether to put it on the 2-poster, which is right there, and do it all on there, or get it on my axle stands that are really high and then it doesn't have to come off of there. Because I think to make my life easier, I'm just going to chop this crash bar out the front and just pull the engine out the front. I think that will be the easiest. So yeah, before I get carried away, I want to get this positioned in the workshop, in my little corner, which is just over there. I just want to shuffle it over a bit. And yeah, let's get stuck in. So we're up on axle stands, nice high ones. I don't want to be rolling about on the floor too much. Save me back a bit. I'm getting old and all that. Maybe not. Anyway, I think now we're up in the air and wheels off. I want to get all the fluids out of it. So coolant, oil. I'll probably leave the gearbox oil in it. Get that draining first, and then I'll look at getting like the exhaust off, prop shaft off, and bits and bobs like that. So yeah, I'll probably put you on a bit of a time lapse and cue the music.
So I'm just whipping the underpaneling off, and then I'm going to start getting that bottom radiator hose off. But I just thought I'd say, if you are enjoying the video, please consider liking and subscribing just to see where we get to with this build. It's going to become quite a lot more work, and yeah, see what we end up doing with it. Because the chassis legs are so bent, it actually made getting that bottom hose off more difficult than I was expecting. That's why I struggled, as you can see, a little bit more than I probably should have.
Well, I thought that was going to go much worse. And I spilt a little bit. What time to be alive.
While I'm removing the top radiator hose, I took this opportunity to take all the wiring and stuff out for the fan controller, because as I showed in a previous video, the temperature sensor is a little inline thing that goes in the top radiator hose.
So I showed you in one of the other videos with the overheating thing, but this is the this was my fan switch basically that turned the fan on as and when the temperature reached whatever I set it to. It's a little dial in this block that you can tweak it to what you fancy it being. Worked well since the original fan decided to not be a fan anymore. This one hasn't gone quite as well. So while the oil's draining, I'll start taking stuff like the airbox off, washer fluid tank, bits like that. Start getting everything out of the engine bay that I don't need. Just while I wait for them bits. A bit later I'll get under the car and get the exhaust off and get the prop shaft off and gear selector and stuff like that. Whilst I think on, what I'm going to do is get some masking tape and a pen and just write up all these electrical plugs, like what they're for. Like this one, which I've just done. I think it was this one. Yeah, this one I've just done is for the windscreen wash and bits like this, because a lot of them use the same plug. Like some of these are for your lights. There's one there for fog light, which was never plugged in. But yeah, I just want to label all these up so I don't get mixed up when I come to put it back together. So all I'm going to do on this side is just do horn and windscreen wash. The rest are actually for the lights. And I'll just figure them out as we go. He says, looking at it, confused. Ah yeah, one's indicators, that's why that one's indicators, I think. But, I mean, we'll find out when we plug it all in, when it's done, and when I press the windscreen wash, the lights come on and stuff like that. Make it a bit exciting. So the way I think I'm going to attack getting this engine out is by actually dropping the whole subframe with steering rack, arms, suspension. I'll just cable tie the calipers up out the way for now. And now I'll just lower it down and pull it out. Obviously I'm going to have to chop this out. It's knackered anyway, so I'll just chop it out. Just enough to get it out for now. I want to chop out as minimal as possible for now until I know what parts I've got. Even though I do know I'm probably chopping it all the way back to the strut towers, just to keep as much in there as possible for now. 'Cause it's a lot easier to cut things out than it is to keep adding bits back in. So yeah, I think the next step is getting the exhaust and prop shaft off. Oosh. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. So underneath the car here, I'm going to disconnect the exhaust from the manifold and then try and pull the whole lot down in one go. I'm just going to use impact guns and stuff just to whip it off. It's not getting reused on this car, certainly. So yeah, I'm going to whip them off. There's 4 bolts up there, which I'll show you now, which actually is only 3 at the minute. So under here, just about sit. Up there, we just going to undo those bolts. There's one snapped there. We'll do them 3, and then that should drop this manifold down. Oh, not the manifold, but the words are escaping me at the minute. This bit, the exhaust. And then yeah, we'll carry on all the way down, just undo all the hangers, and hopefully it should drop down easy peasy lemon squeezy. Oh, I forgot to undo the lander. But yeah, that's how you remove an exhaust off an E30. So, now the exhaust's off, I want to get these heat shields off, and then I'll get the prop shaft out. Easy peasy, he says. Right, so there are the heat shields out. Let's go straight in for the prop shaft. What I'm going to do is leave the centre bearing in for now. I'll undo both ends, and I'll do the prop bearing and lower it down. I think that'll be the best way of doing it. I've been wrong though, a lot.
So as you can see, I start holding the prop still with a lever bar, because I had no way of locking the wheels off. I just thought it was the easiest way of doing it by myself. And yeah, this prop isn't getting used again either. I'll probably need a custom one to fit the LS engine and drivetrain in. These are all just 17mm nuts and bolts, which made it nice and easy. So now the prop shaft's out, we'll get the gear linkage out. It's just some clips and bits and bobs, and then we can pop the whole lot out. And then that's disconnected from the car. And then the next thing would be clutch, which is in here. We'll ping that off. And then I think it's just the reverse light switch. And then that engine, gearbox and all that. But yeah, let's give that a go. So have you seen, I've got most of the underside disconnected now. I'm just going to do the steering UJ, disconnect the top mounts, unbolt top mounts, take the calipers off, as in just hang them up to the side, and then that should be about it in terms of things I need to disconnect, I think. And I'll just start lowering it down and see what snags, I think. Like I say, none of this is getting reused, so it doesn't bother me if I accidentally snag a wire or something, because it's not being used again. So yeah, let's crack on. And what I do want to do is pull all the systems out with it, so like your power steering, all the reservoir and stuff, I can't be bothered draining that yet, so I'll just keep that in one bunch on the engine. Because nothing on this engine is getting reused. Absolutely nothing. So if I can just keep it all on top of it, if I sell it or whatever, or someone wants it for nothing, it gets it out of my way. Everything's with it. That includes power steering pump. Might have put the rack in, because I'm going to put a purple tag rack in it and stuff like that. So I'm not even reusing this steering rack. So yeah, want everything to basically fold on top of the engine and then be able to pull it out the front. Obviously I am going to have to cut this off, which I've already mentioned, so I won't talk about it again. This bit I'm just removing the engine earth, because that's quite a common thing that I like to forget. So I just thought I'd ping that off while it was fresh in my mind. I also attacked the steering UJ while I was in here as well. That ended up being a bit difficult, just because of the positioning of the steering and stuff, but we got it done, easy enough. Nothing too stressful.
I think it's choppy time, because I think the next bits we want to be doing is actually dropping the engine out. So let's get the grinder out and do a bit of cutting. So I believe that's everything I need off, disconnected and stuff. So all I need to do now is chop the front off here. I'm just going to cut it at a bit of an angle there and cut those bits off. Cut them off, get a jack under the subframe, undo the subframe bolts and the gearbox mount, which might mean the gearbox drops, but we'll see. Be alright. Can only be alright, can't it? Right, grinder. Well, I don't think that's the way they teach you how to remove the engine at BMW. However, we're about ready. Obviously, I pretty much brutalised the front of that off. It's not usually how I work. But, to be honest, that front end scrap anyway. And it was really difficult to get some of the welds and stuff, so I just thought I'll rip it off. Take a bit of my anger out on it. But it's only when the front end's off you realise how bent the chassis legs are. So I'm stood pretty much head on here, and you can just see how bent those chassis legs are. It's quite substantial. You can see there's a kink here where it's obviously hit on the alternator. Probably why I had a load of squeaking. But yeah, I think what we're going to have to do is, if we can get a front end, sort of tuck it in from here. There is a tiny, there is a little tweak in there. Maybe we'll replace them. But I think I'm going to have to look and see what I can get in terms of front end. Ideally, I can just get a whole front cut and just sort of weld it in from around here. Or, yeah, figure it out, I suppose. But yeah, right, engine out. I think this is going to be relatively sketchy, so don't copy what I'm doing. But I think it'll work. Find out in a minute.
So I'm just undoing the gearbox mount here. This is when it starts getting, it's not sketchy, but where I'm a bit more nervous about doing it all, because obviously I'm by myself, I don't have someone to support it and stuff while I'm in and around the car, but I was safe enough. I wasn't scared. You were scared.
Right, it should now be free.
So I was just getting hung up on the steering UJ, it was a little bit bound on there, so I just got my friend hammer and chisel on the job, just to get it moving, and it came off. It gave us a little bit of a fight, but she came off.
Right, I didn't realise, but I think you've got to unplug the ECU and everything like that and pull the plug through. I thought the big plug on behind the engine would be enough to undo that and that'd disconnect the engine to the chassis side, but I am incorrect.
So on right-hand drive cars, I'm not sure if it's the same on left-hand drive cars, but it's just under the dash where the driver sits. It's just a few screws. The plug's screwed into the ECU as well, so just a little screw in there, and then you're able to just push/pull the connector through the bulkhead. So it wasn't difficult, just didn't realise that's what I had to do. So yeah, should see me pulling it through right now.
There we go. I mean, I think I skipped a few steps out of the BMW manual, but yeah, we're out. These chassis legs do look quite bad. I'm very sad. But what I'm going to do is get this out of the way, stick it somewhere for now. Well, tomorrow I might just get it off the engine, off the subframe and stuff. But I can't be bothered today. Well, that sounds like a tomorrow job. I am just going to take a few more things out of the engine bay and then I'll give you a good look round and the state of it. So that's the front end exploded, and I must admit it's worse than I thought it was going to be. Still going to fix it, still going to get it sorted and stuff, but yeah, it's a decent amount of work. This is like more than I was bargaining on. Like I said earlier, probably going to have to chop it around the strut towers and then almost straight down from the strut tower support on both sides on the actual I don't know what you call it, upper leg or whatever. It's got a massive tweak here, and if you have a look, it has a massive bend in, so I'm certainly going to have to go in from up here somewhere. On the other side, it only looks to have tweaked it at this point, or maybe this point, but But if I'm doing to the chassis leg here, I'll probably just go over a very similar line. So yeah, she's pretty much fully disassembled. Like, yeah, I need to find some parts now. So yeah, I'll be back in tomorrow to get some bits done. I want to get the matting off the front, have another inspection on some of the damage, maybe even start cutting some off. Yeah, sort of go out. I just want to give it a good clean inside and out, all these bits. I might even get underneath tomorrow and give it a clean, see how excited I get. Shall I put the LS in? Just nose the LS in, just see what it looks like. Might make myself feel a little bit better. Yeah, let's do that. If it's not too hard to get out. I mean, it's a bit too low, but it's kind of in there. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. That's G'd me up a little bit, made me smile a little bit. Let's get this front end sorted, and then I can start smashing this together and get the LS in. Yeah, seeing that's just made my day, made me feel a little bit better about it all. So yeah, it's worth a picture that, I reckon. So I know it's been a bit of a weird video, stripping the front end off and pulling the engine and what have you. But I hope you've enjoyed it. I think I'm going to be uploading about 3 videos on the same day. So if you have enjoyed it, have a think about watching the others, or stuff that I've uploaded in the past. Of me building the LS and stuff like that. And yeah, please like, comment and subscribe. And yeah, see where this project goes, see how much of a big rebuild I've got to do.